Welcome everyone to the Adelaide Microsoft IT Pro Community User Group Meetup for June 2026. I'm Andrew Young, AI Workforce and Security Specialist at Infomotion. Here's my details. I'm joined here with Jahan.
Hi everyone, I'm Shahan and I'm also Microsoft MVP in security and I'm working at Arinco as a consultant in modern work and security, and these are my handles, and if you scan my QR code you'll find my information about my blog, my LinkedIn and my X Twitter stuff. And welcome.
Yeah. Well, thanks to our sponsors, Microsoft for hosting us, Systematec for keeping our meetup going. Thanks, Brett, and us for being here, I guess. And there's food reference out in the foyer. So we've got guest speakers for today, but we'll quickly get through the what's new, what's coming kind of update, and then give them all as much airtime as they want. So I guess in the last week, Microsoft Build happened, which is the flagship developer conference for Microsoft. A lot of new stuff. A lot of stuff over my head because I'm not really in that developer space, but big announcement was the partnership with Microsoft and NVIDIA. Got a hands up already.
Yeah, excuse me, can you speak on the mic, or from here it's very hard to hear, yeah.
Well, you can have it.
Yeah, have it?
Hello?
Yeah, it's very, yeah.
Okay, so one of the biggest things
is the partnership between NVIDIA and Microsoft. So they
now have a new
single chip that contains CPU, GPU, NPU, and all sorts of things. Extremely
power efficient.
Allows you to do a bunch of AI stuff locally on the device. So,
Andrew, can you step away from the podium while you're using the microphone? We're getting feedback. Thank you.
yeah.
So yeah, the first device is the Surface Ultra. So things happening there, price points or when it's going to be available, but keep an eye out on what's happening in that space. All of the AI models, large language models,
Different models. Small.
Microsoft also released
new
proprietary AI models as well. So MAI models, they now have 7 new ones, or newer versions of their existing ones. And now a software development kit for the agents. So managing, governing your agents within your and M-dash.
I think you go.
So this stands for multi-model. Essentially, that
AI models, and they're now doing very rapid security work for them. So
detection response.
that fixes all
Wasn't so much of a build.
giving you behind the scenes. It's really, really cool. Leveraging several different models to get the best incident response. And
Deal was coming. Not going to happen.
Yeah.
Pilots for Copilot. So actually sit there doing first one off the rank. Scout. Sorry. So that will run on Copilot credits. Up. So haven't had my chance to play with it, but Copilot to work with co-work to create things in Copilot. Background.
But yeah.
With Copilot, there are obviously changes. There's new AutoOpus. models available for data residency. Agent is now generally available. So
You give it your
profile, who you are, what topics you're interested in, help you build out.
yes, your
And of course, the Copilot user interface has changed again. Just gotten used to the old one. It's now that, so in line with the chat face. So it's very hadn't awful menus back.
Yeah. I've got
Your experience now. You've got wider central section in the notebook, and it's handling infographics a bit nicer now. So start creating your Apple CarPlay. If you've got an iPhone, car that supports CarPlay, follow it in your car. About that one, but responsibly when driving. Prompt gallery has more
prompting.
access it through Copilot interface is slightly different now. And here's one that will probably ruffled a few feathers. Creation of the Copilot button within someone. So previously at the top there, then they decided to move it down to the bottom right without telling anyone. Like, oh, I've lost Copilot. Where's Copilot? I think with this is from the insider log, but it looks like you can choose where it lives. Back up top, or leave it. A couple of now, if you're using the mobile app, there's a really handy filtering. That's in conversation.
Quickly,
Conversations and have Teams panel.
give you the new meetings that are coming up. But you know, book
read this out, but last month they're into, but they starting last month they had a new reality series busting, I guess. It's around
deploy
apps at scale.
because you can infect that mean
Get up in my face like this.
yeah.
A couple of timeline things to keep eyes on. They extended the transition of the Azure portal into the DR portal. A few on-prem servers, SharePoint project, InfoPath, SQL, Life,
15, 20.
and Microsoft Publisher finally best at around October. Have you ever done desktop publishing, previous life in high school and all that? Childhood, ever touched Publisher? Create cards, flyers, and
Nothing.
but we've now got Copilot to do that for us. So we
The audio is fading in and out really badly. So
oh. So I just do this instead. Oh, yeah, that's good. So in terms of more security training, you've got the Microsoft Security Ninja training. So across all of the different Microsoft security products, you've got these curated learning paths. And at the end of it, you can do a free assessment. It's through Microsoft Forms. So if you score over 80%, you get a certificate to say that you've achieved or you've participated in learning that specific security product. Microsoft Learn. There are a bunch of new certificates, new exams that have come out or coming out, rather. They're mostly in beta at the moment. And we've hit June, and the only one that hasn't appeared is that last one around Windows Server Hybrid. So laggy animations there. So a lot of the older Azure branded certifications, they've been renamed to now show Cloud and AI or Azure AI Cloud. You can see those like across data and AI, they've been replaced. Some of the security ones have been updated. And they decided to squeeze in a few more extra exams. So across the April to June quarter, I think all of these have happened so far, except for that Power Platform Fundamentals refresh. And all of these are, you can take them, they're replacing, or actually they're retiring a whole bunch of Power Platform certifications. So, solutions architecture, the functional consultant, they're being replaced, which is probably going to impact some Microsoft partners out there because they'll need to get their staff to update their skilling profile. And I guess one of the later additions, so if you are interested, the AB410, this is the intelligent app builder, so it kind of replaces the L400, I believe. And if you quick, you can use that code, get 80% off, but you have to take it before the 17th. All right, and there's a bunch of other certs that are in beta as well. Obviously, all those codes have been exhausted except for that one that was just on the screen. And these will all go live probably in the next month or so, and then the beta results will come out shortly after. Starting yesterday, so after Microsoft Build, they kicked off the AI Skills Fest. So this is a free learning platform. And there is a opportunity for you to win essentially a free exam voucher. So if you go on to that site there, register, pick one of the learning paths. They're pretty short. And it's more Microsoft getting you to get used to the new AI Skills Navigator, which is like a agent, I think, behind the scenes, but it's a scrolling kind of learning path rather than you clicking and jumping around. It's all on the one screen. You can get through it really quickly, and then once you've done it, fill out a form and say, I've done this learning path, give me a free exam voucher, and they may give you one. They generally would. I think last year when they did this, they had it out, was it 16,000 free exam vouchers? So if you get onto it sooner rather than later, you have a chance to get one. If you're interested in agent learning or Copilot Studio, there is some collateral out there. There is some hands-on labs, and once you've shown that you've done them, you get these cool badges. They've also extended to the more advanced scenarios as well, using MCP and all that. There's also a section for Copilot Cowork, so if you want to play with Cowork or you have access to Cowork, you can also get those as well. And there's also the Copilot Dev Camp Awards, so similar vein, but it's more around the, I guess, it's more technical architecture, when to use what type of agent or MCP tool or whatever it may be, and not quite as cartoony, but John's interested.
We should go and claim more.
Yeah. Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. I think last time we mentioned that they've refreshed their program, so they've got different badges now. So if you are a student at higher education, uni, TAFE, and you're interested in Microsoft Tech, take a look into this. You can sign up. It's free to get into the program, and if you do a bunch of community and presentation work to advocate, I guess, Microsoft products, you become a associate and then a senior in the program, and effectively it opens up doors to having access to MVPs or becoming a Microsoft MVP in your early career. And there's also a student accelerator meetup group. Hasn't happened in Adelaide for a while, but if you're interested, we can try and get something happening. But generally, these are online In Melbourne, I've seen a lot of them, but they do travel around ANZ, so sometimes in Perth, New Zealand, and so on. And a reminder that we've got a whole bunch of other user groups and communities in Adelaide. So if you're interested, actually the Azure user group has a session after this one from 3:00. But you'll find us
Not
all
today,
on
they. Not today. They don't.
Oh, not today?
They've cancelled today.
And yeah, the last one there, I'll bring it up in a section. But yeah, these are all generally in person and online as well. So keep an eye out for them. You do need to join Meetup. That's right, you get the slides afterwards. Announcing the global security community. If you haven't seen any posts around this is effectively in the same vein as the global AI and the global Azure communities around the world. Some of them are Microsoft backed. This one we're working on. So the guys in Perth, Microsoft Perth, and the local community in Perth, they ran a boot camp last year and they had some really good turnout. So now they're expanding. So we've got chapters popping up all around the world. So we've got Adelaide, Sydney, a couple in New Zealand, and some in the States as well. I think one in Sri Lanka. Yeah. So as it's growing, people are becoming chapter leads. And they're also hosting boot camps. So we've got one lined up for August 22nd. It is the day after the AISA Adelaide Sec. So hopefully, we've got that security buzz still going on that week. Free event. Make sure you register an account on the website, register for the event, and if possible, submit a session if you'd like to present anything to do with security, I guess. The QR code will take you to the home site, and from there you use like an email address to sign up. It's a bit funky for me because it uses CIAM. There's no password, so it emails you a code. You may have to wait for it to let you resend the code to actually send the code. But aside from that, it all seems to be working very well behind the scenes. All right, what's coming? I think we're still lined up for a Microsoft Build local host after party event, possibly on the 16th. Health dependent on the host, so we'll see what happens there. But besides that, there's just a bunch of security events happening. I haven't updated the list particularly. Later in the year, there'll be the flagship Microsoft Ignite conference, but aside from that, I don't know what else is happening without doing a deep dive. It was Digital Workplace Conference 2 weeks ago. So myself and one of the other user group hosts, we went over to present, caught up with a bunch of other speakers, on the stage. There's Adelaide Airport, delicious food, Melbourne, weather, conference, law conference, random bar. There's Daniel. There's John. I got the photo after I did my post. So all in all, nice time. We don't get much happening in Adelaide, but if you can make your way to these events, they're always fun. So the next one will likely be in Sydney, either next year or the year after, but the Digital Workplace Results team will host it in New Zealand every year. All right, so what's coming for us? Call for speakers. If you want to present on anything at all for however long possible, let us know, reach out to us or fill in the form. But we'll try and line up speakers for the remainder of the year. And just a reminder, the podcast is back. San Shahan, because he's no longer doing it with us. So the new hosts are us three, so Anthony, Matt, and myself, on all the usual platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, etc., for our video recordings. And there's also the SAIT Connect Discord community server. So if you're not a member of this already, check it out. This is where a lot of the people in South Australia, either studying, working, or looking for jobs in the space of IT come together. There's conversations, there's channels for all sorts of things. We meet for lunch every so often, a couple of months. I think there's a lunch this Thursday. So if you join the server, RSVP on the server, come along to lunch on Thursday. On that note, that's enough from us, and we'll get our guest speakers to come on here. I'll stop manhandling this podium mic. All right, so we've got John Liu and Catherine Han from Flow Studio Solutions.
I'll come up with intro.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
I'll do the first part
Do you
and then,
screen sharing and
okay,
all that?
what do I do?
You're in Teams,
what do
you're
I
in
do?
Teams call? How were you sharing before?
We were not in the teams. We just
Are you plugged in?
rejoined us.
This is just a kind of
All right, let me send you the invite. You can just drag it out with it.
Okay. Hello. Okay. I'm good at talking. So Catherine and I, we work together. We are actually married, so if you're wondering, are they related? So we are married. We both work as consultants in the M365 space. I've been doing M365 probably 25 years now. So ever since I graduated, I've been. Prior to COVID, there were a lot more user groups and events around Australia. Back then, I come and visit Adelaide quite often, like twice every year. But back then, there was a lot more topics around, even for developers, how do you build against this platform? For admins, how do you run scripts and what kind of reports you want on this platform, and so on. So anyway, that's my background. Catherine has been working as a consultant for the last. Maybe you talk.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm Catherine. So I'm the product lead for Flow Studio MCP, which we are going to introduce today.
Yeah.
So earlier this year, well, something big happened. Have you heard of OpenClaw? If you do, raise your hand. Okay, OpenClaw. Yes. And so I started playing OpenClaw.
Let's ask who knows
yeah.
what Power Automate.
Yeah. So who knows what Power Automate is? Okay, quite a few.
Okay.
Yeah. And so so I started playing and the kind of the purpose was well I'm trying to explore what AI agent can do for me at work. So at work I do a lot of Power Automate flow building. And so the goal is if I can get OpenClaw to build flow for me, that would be great. And then we had a lot of trial. I use different methods, giving different access principles and access to database. I don't know if you ever heard. And then the result is, well, it works in some way if the build is easy, but crashes if it's more complicated because the agent doesn't have the visibility how we human normally build flow on UI. And then John being working on Flow Studio, which is our other product for years. He knows all the API, and then he said, "Okay, Catherine, start struggling. I will build this NCP server for you." And then he did, and then he gave me the tool that my agent can use to see flows and how it operates in very detailed manner. And then it changed the game. And then from there, for months, I have not built flows by my own. I do it in chats.
So I just need to share that in Teams.
Share in Teams. So you may need to figure out how to do that.
Can an agent share
I
this?
think we need to join the team meeting first. Yeah. So that changed the game. And so today basically we are here to share the experience to you. How do I use agents to build Power Automate flows, and you will feel surprised. Hey,
Okay.
Coming through good.
I'll-
Thank you.
You see? Yeah, okay.
All good.
Okay.
So just wanted to make sure everyone on the same page. We want to show off what this thing is. What is this MCP? If actually another question, who knows what an MCP is? Right. Okay. A couple of people know. Okay, good. By the end of this, you will all know what MCP is. You can sit down if you want. Otherwise, sit down. Okay. So what we want to do quite a few demos. We want to use the MCP to build a few flows, and then Catherine will cover the second half of 3 and 4 on some setup, and then on a really complex, super duper solution. That's the end last demo to go away. So what is the Flow Studio MCP? Now we are in a world now, particularly since probably late last year, agents are assisting humans to write code, right? Hands up, who's using some sort of agent to help you? Okay. So a few years ago when GPT came out, you realize, oh, it's really good at summarizing stuff for me. Even you can ask it to do stuff and it will tell you what you need to do. Have you had that experience? You say, oh, how do I do this in Outlook? And you just say, yeah, go and click this and this. And that was okay 3 years ago. But now it's like, why can't you do it? Why am I doing it? You know, if you talk to agent today and gives you a set of instructions, it's kind of frustrating. Have you asked your Windows Copilot and say, change my power settings? And he says, go to settings and then click. You're like, why can't you do it, right? I'm hoping that experience will come, not just the Windows, but your phone as well. If you talk to your agent, you should just change the settings, right? Okay, so that's what needs to happen. Now, as agents are becoming more and more, not just giving you some sort of response, they're actually becoming kind of like co-working. The word we like to use is co-working. They work with you. So you have agents on the far left, and this could be any kind of agent. It could be Claude. Claude is common. It could be Codex. That's from OpenAI. Microsoft has GitHub Copilot, but actually that's a harness where you put in different models. And also in M365, you have Copilot and you have Copilot Cowork. So a couple of the big ones that we use. And then on the right-hand side, you have the Power Platform. Power Platform is a particular set of products within Microsoft. And in Power Platform, there is a product called Power Automate. It's mainly for you to create workflows. So you can say when an email is received, I want you to do A, B, and C. Now, this workflow system has been around for 10 years. It is not initially anyway built on top of AI, right? So it's very specific. If you see this signal, you're going to do this and this. But what's really good about Power Platform is it has connectors to, I think, over 2,000 systems. So within the Power Platform, you could say, when I receive an email in Outlook, I want to put a ticket into Jira, which is a different system, not a Microsoft system. I want to connect to ServiceNow. I want to do this and that. Now, you can also say, oh, a different type of integration. You can say, every Monday morning, I want to pull a report from Jira. I want to pull a report from ServiceNow. Pull that together, give me a new report, and then put that into my Power BI. So businesses use Power Automate in this way. They build these workflows. One is to mirror business processes, so approvals. You know, if you want to do we'll do an approval in a minute. Or they might use it in an integration way. Put this data and that data together. Okay. Now, where the MCP is, sorry, I'm starting too long on the slide. MCP is the tool that we built in the middle, and basically is this. Any agent has some idea of what a definition of what a flow looks like. It's a JSON file, quite a specific language to it. So most agents are trained, they know enough about how to write it. But when they write it, they can't test it. So they'll write it and say, John, you deploy it. And I'll deploy it and I'll get a whole bunch of errors. I have to copy those errors, go back to the agent, and the agent goes, oh, and then you'll give me a new definition. So that process is completely not workable. It's really, really slow. So we, and that was what Catherine was saying, her struggle was the agents would try something, it will error, and then it's like back to square one. It's almost like you say, I want to build this house. And the agent goes, ta-da! Like it tries to do it in one hit. And it's not successful, so it collapses. And you bring that back to the agent. So the agent goes, okay, ta-da! So what we build with the MCP is we give agents more granular read into when you build a flow, is that valid? And then when you run them, where do you error? And if you error, can you trace it back and then fix it? Right? So you think about where the 3 boxes. On the left, you have your modern models, very smart, extremely good at languages and logic. On the right, you have a business system, very specific APIs, needs things to work a certain way. And then the NCP sits in the middle to guide this crazy model into the right path. Okay, it's like the model wants to wander all over and come up with all kinds of crazy things. But the NCP is like a guide rail to say, actually, if you, here's a cliff, but you can come back. So that's what really NCP is. So MCP is like an API, but this is API only for agents. Don't think it's not API for humans. Humans can have a GUID, can have a command line, but NCP is API only for agents. And its key is it detects when the agent is going off course and guide them back. Right? If agent goes, oh, you have these tools, I want to do this, and then going really bad, you quickly stop and say, hey, you are losing the plot. The correct path looks like this. You should do this, and then this. So then the agent, because you're feeding agent's memory right at the point of failure, the agent recovers right away. Okay, so think about how agent is working on your task. It may not 100% know what to do with the API, but as it's progressing, you are like, and then it just continues to the correct path. So that's what MCP ultimately does. Yeah. Okay, enough talking. Let's show you some cool stuff. So we have a bunch. Let me hide this. So this interface I'm at is actually called the Microsoft Cowork. Pilot Cowork. I am not sure how many of you have seen this actually. How many of you have seen or used Cowork? Okay. Not bad. You'll be familiar. So the thing is, MCP is a industry standard. So every agent can work with MCP. And modern agents. So this Cowork is actually running Claude Opus 4.8. So very smart agent. So what I will do is, this trick I learned at the conference. Hello, I want to build a SharePoint approval workflow in the MCP demo site. It needs to be tied to the leave approvals list. I want to have 2-layer approvals, so it needs to be approved by the manager and the manager's manager, and update the status at the end. Another AI tool. It's called WhisperFlow. It's not part of Windows, but it's such a cool thing. I think that's what I'm just gonna run. So in
It often happens. You just click again, retry.
really?
Yeah.
Penis of live demos. Did I even enable the thing? Hold on. Sorry, hold on. So I want to show you. So in Copilot Cowork, out of the box, Microsoft has the Work IQ, which is M365 MCP, and then Fabric IQ, which is all Microsoft product with the IQ word is actually their branding for a set of MCPs. We have one called this is our product, the Copilot Cowork. So basically, you see, okay, it's worked out. Okay, I need to look for a thing called MCP demo. This is a SharePoint site. It's found my SharePoint site. It's gonna basically work through this problem. You can see I gave it an instruction pretty much in human text. I did wanted to say, Actually, I'm not sure where it's going to put that. Can you?
Demo.
Okay, it's okay. So in the Power Platform world, this let me just do some talking. In the Power Platform world, when you build flows and automations, you put them in a container. These are called environments. So the one that, because I didn't say which container to put it in, it went and looked and it's like, oh, Catherine's environment, I'm going to put it in there. But just now it says, wait, it doesn't. So it's found out, okay, you want the Flow Studio demo. Let me look for that. And then it's going to basically, so each one of these, if I open it up, let's see what it's doing. It's doing some thinking. It's calling out to and then doing some thinking. Anyway, I'm just gonna leave that running. So maybe while it's doing that, let me just show a flow. So this is basically, it will collect some information, it will think through, it will tell you what it's doing, similar to, and then when it's not sure, it says, oh, what do you want to do? There is a list called, it's another list.
This is on the first tab, if you can. The first tab, the first.
Demo
Oh,
leave approval. Did I mention it's a leave request?
I think you put the S so you couldn't search. That's the film.
So when the agent is not able to find the list or when it's not sure, it will actually ask that information. So let's hope, yeah, it will go and find the list, hopefully, and then it will set it up. Let me show a flow because I think some people say that they have not seen a Power Automate flow before. I want to quickly, yeah. So this is the Power Automate product, and these are basically workflows. Let me see what's a good one. Maybe I'll just. So typically, a workflow is, oh, not very exciting. This workflow is a manual trigger, so a human had to click it, and then it just creates a markdown file. It's not particularly interesting. Sorry. Should find something more interesting. A lot of these are Catherine's demo later, so I can't spoil it. I can. Oh, okay. So it's found this list. It's got. Oh, it's gonna create a new list. Okay.
Actually, will fail. I think you can prove.
Huh?
You can approve.
The trouble with live demos. Okay, so quick look. Okay, we'll have to let the things. So basically, what?
If you give it the full URL of the list, you can find.
Oh, okay, okay. Um,
Yeah, I think because the first time you gave him, you said it is leave approvals, and so when he used the approvals as a word to search, because the extra S
oh, really?
doesn't, well, the existing list doesn't come up.
So we need more work on our MCP. Okay, so it's found the list, and yeah. So what we find is, as we're building this tool, right? Is one hand the agent is good at writing the definition, but the agent doesn't know what is, say, you have a GUID for your team, or you have a GUID for your list column, or some internal name, right? The agent doesn't know what those are. So often when we first build this tool, the agent can write a perfect flow, but every time it's like, oh, I don't know what's the name of that. Can you go and find the URL and come and paste it? And then the agent. So as we, in our journey to build this MCP, we realize, oh, we can build a lot of helper tools for the agent to discover that environment. So now, generally, when you talk to our MCP and say, build a flow against SharePoint or against a SQL database or against a Dataverse, it could just read the tables directly. It could work out what the columns it has. And then from that information, it will build the flow. Generally without our intervention, but this one is now. So it's found the list and it's working through what are the settings, and it's going to go through and do that. Right, just this part we just have to wait for it to go. What else? Let me cover what I was thinking. So in depending on which agent you're using, and you may have this experience, if you're using Claude, sometimes when it's doing some update, it will ask you, right? Hey, I'm about to use this action. Particularly, so in general, MCPs have 3 levels that they call annotations. You have read-only. Mostly these tools will fetch some sort of data. Generally, you could then say approve all. Approve all the read-only. It's just reading anyway. Now, and then you have the second tier, which is called mutation. So they were going to update something. And then the third tier is the destruction. So I'm going to delete something. Okay, so generally, different agents, and in the tool that you use the agent, it will have some sort of maybe a dialogue that says, I'm about to update. Are you sure? There is no backup. So if we change it, it's going to change. Or I'm about to delete. So similarly in Cowork has that dialogue. Any questions so far? So waiting for it to build the flow. For some of you that may have built your own flows before, the experience is the same as a human building it. You put the trigger in, then you put the first thing in, and then remember you run it, and then you see, oh, okay, it's working. Okay, then you build the second part. Typically, that's how we build flows. Very few humans go and and then doesn't work. Oh, it doesn't. So this is the update. It's about to write the flow. Let's just hit yes. And we build the engine at the back. So the key thing that we monitor is this particular call. When a human using an agent is updating a flow, did that succeed? That is probably our number one metric. Right? And if it did not succeed, generally it's because you send some sort of invalid thing to the API in the back, and we're in the middle, right? So we can see as the error come back, oh, what the error say? Then at that point, we add the value to say, oh, the error means you did this part wrong. So the sample should look like this. Feed that right back to the agent, and the agent can recover. So there is some error. The first one, let me just do always allow. So it's gonna not keep asking me. So probably failed the first time. It's gonna do a second time. Okay, so it's gonna. The choose column takes status directly. I'm gonna tell a joke. Oh, your question first, then I ask the joke.
Curious about the GUI. If you have to do it manually, how would you do it?
Okay, if you need a GUID, you have to go to SharePoint, and you see, you see this list? You go to the list settings here, and there is your GUID right there. You see, that's super painful. And then you say, oh, I need a list GUID for a status column. You click this, and it's even worse. It's like down here. Actually, just go status. That was. So the MCP doesn't do the URL thing. It asks the API behind the scene.
No, I'm not sorry. I mean how you do it on Power Automate on the platform to build the flow.
Okay.
Yes.
When it's finished,
Can you see it live because it's doing live, right?
no, you good. Let me say, give me. This. Oh, it's give me a summary. It thinks it's built. It says I haven't run it. Okay, give me URL. Don't forget to give me a URL. No, it's thinking. Okay, here's your. I have another joke around this. So this is the actual flow that's built. So this is the more complex flow than the one action. When the item is created, and you'll see it's in this list on the leave approval list. And if I go to the code view, you'll see what it wrote. See how it's taken this. This is the GUID for the site. There's nothing else here. But basically, what the MCP had to do is help the agent resolve what those underlying ID are. Right? And that's not just for SharePoint. That's for, Game Manager. This is getting the manager, and then the first level approval. And then I think I said 2-level approval, right? Yeah, so it gets the manager's manager again and does a second level approval. Then I hope at the end it says update the status to approved. Let me go and we find that as a person who writes a lot of flows, the more features Microsoft add to the designer, the slower the designer becomes. If you use an MCP, that's not your problem because you never use the designer. Some people ask me, John, why do we want agents to write flows? Why not just write something in Azure like a cron job or a Python script and write? Like if you want some sort of scheduled task, right? Why do you still want to write flow? Why don't you just use some other thing? Agents could write all kinds of things, right? And my thinking around that is it's regarding who the person is, right? Okay, say I'm a C# developer. I prefer the agent write C#. I'm also JavaScript developer, so I prefer the agent write JavaScript. Right now, the agents could probably write a binary exe and still do what I asked it to do, but I can't read that, right? It's just binary. The agent say, okay, here's the thing I write for you, exe. You double click it, it just does what you want. But you're like, I can't, if I want to read it, I can't read it. So I think based on who you are, right? As an IT admin, you probably prefer if an agent writes a PowerShell script, right? Now, you're not going to read it 100% of the time, but most of the time, if I want to read it, I can. So there is that. So if you're a citizen developer, you're already writing all these flows. Having the agent write flows makes sense. You may have existing flows and you don't want to rewrite them, so you just want to maintain them. That also makes sense. So I think it's the same as a developer, right? Today's developer, they would say, yeah, we use agent alongside with our coding. Agent help us with coding. But the developer probably don't tell the agent to write in a completely different language that they don't read themselves. So I think it's that. And system admin, maybe you want to write in PowerShell. A citizen developer or someone doing Power Automate, you wanted to write flows. I think it's the same. Okay, let's quickly. I am eating up all of Catherine's time. Was it this one? Yeah. So we're just gonna go and create an item to Adelaide, and it's gonna be. And we'll read the manager, so we don't need the approver, I think. Adelaide is very sunny. Okay, it's just so say I put in this entry. Do I need a SATA enter? Okay. Let's go. So the SharePoint trigger doesn't trigger right away. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. So what did it do? So this is a good lead on to my second demo. My second demo is you can actually just tell it to fix the flow. Because we gave the MCP, the MCP has tools to read an existing run. And not only can it get the error, if you ask the API, it will just say the flow failed. So you have to draw in one level to say what failed, like which action failed. And then when you get in, it'll tell you on that action what the output is that failed. So we give that all back to the agent. Work on it, and then it can work. So it's reading the flow run to find the last run. It's gonna go and read the error, and then it will figure out. And then the agent is just like a human. It'll read this stop and say, "Oh, you failed here," but the input is from here. So it will take that and then go back and fix it and then redeploy. Yeah. So so this is worked out. So I think this is a nice thing because the agent is so good at coding, so good at languages. It just needs some context around what are your systems. You have these columns, you have these data. Yeah. So I might just. It's worked out. Oh, it's already updated, and then okay. We gave the agent a tool so it could just take the fail run and resubmit. That particular run was a SharePoint trigger, so you had to put an entry into SharePoint to start it. But once you have a fail run, you could just go and resubmit it. So it's doing that. New run still fail in which action. So it's gonna go through and fix it. I want to see. We deliberately planted an error. Just wanted to show you an error. How much time do we have?
40 minutes.
Left? Oh, wow. We can leave that. Because this part really is, and I think you can imagine, the agent is fixing, then resubmit, and then we'll check runs, and then it will fix. So you could just go and have lunch, right? Send me a message when you're done. In fact, I built it too because Catherine said, I want my open cloud, and it was a big struggle. Imagine agent cannot see the run. It was just throwing stuff randomly. Like it failed. And then it's like, oh, it's probably this. And then it just gets worse and worse. You know, have you had, when you're interacting with the agent and it's hallucinating, and you're just like, can you get back on track? Like it's just going off and off on the tangent. The MPC and the NCP is the one point where we actually positively influence them to go back. That's actually probably the funnest part of this. Okay, there was an approval. Something happened. I need to approve something. So I think there's approval. That's the first level approval. We can have a quick look. John wanted to leave. He didn't say why. He just wanted to go. Approve. Catherine. And then Catherine is John's manager. And it's that's the first approval. And then what happened?
Tell the agent I approved.
We deliberately planted a bug, which is there's only two of us in the company. Catherine has no manager. So we knew that if we say 2-level approval, it's gonna fail and say, hey, Catherine has no manager. Anyway, but yeah, I probably won't continue that. But basically you could tell, if you tell her to read it, it's gonna say, oh, Catherine has a manager. It's gonna propose and say, well, if there's no more manager, maybe we should just approve it up. You don't need 2 levels, 1 level is. So it will do that, and then probably don't need to show that. I think the really nice part is how it just recovers. Right? It's okay if it makes an error first time, but it will just recover. It's just like a human. When you write your first flow, I'm sure it's not successful, but you just, and then it works, and then it will work forever. And then if it breaks, you tell the agent to go back. Okay, let me switch back to Catherine, who has more to show you.
1 minute. Yeah.
I think that's hour.
Right. So I think we have gone through. So this one is the action level, because if you see the native portal, that is for the human to do. So you do see the run status in Power Automate UI. You can see the per action input output. Or you have this visibility. The thing is that you need to open the UI and you need to click, go through each one. And sometimes when you have a nested action or a loop, and you have 100 runs and one thing is not so right, you may need to click to find a particular instance. And sometimes it's quite painful. Then with Dataverse API, this is my earlier try without NCP. It has the visibility very limited, so it has to make a lot of guess when it encounter error. And then with Flow Studio MCP, give the same human level of visibility, yet it's programmed so the agent can actually do that much faster than human. Because I build Flow a lot, my personal feeling is it's at least like 20 times faster than usually when I build a Flow. Yeah, so normally a Flow that may take me 1 full day to build. Agent may do it in 20, 30 minutes. a simpler flow that I do like 2 hours, 3 hours, agent can do in 10 minutes. Okay, so the setup. So in our earlier demo that is using Microsoft Copilot Cowork, and we have other different types of agent can do. Maybe I'll just survey a bit here. If you use like an IDE agent such as Claude or Codex, raise your hand. I see. Okay, most of you. If you have access to Copilot Studio to configure a Copilot agent, can you raise your hand? One. Okay. So maybe I'll use the VS Code as an example. So to set it up, one thing is that you need to go to the ncp.flowstudio.app. This is usually you can just log in with your Microsoft account. Log in with my Microsoft account. It will ask you, well, you need to grant the permission to sign in because we need to know who is signing in. And then usually you can just go straight to dashboard, or you can scroll to, we have a kind of starter plan. I already have the plan. So, but if you come here, you can just start free. It gives you free 100 calls, which is plenty to build a handful of flows. So if I go to dashboard.
We want to get you addicted first.
Yes. So when you come here, usually I'm not going to disconnect, but when you come here, you will claim your 100 free plan, and then you will grant the permission. So this permission is for Power Platform permissions for Power Automate and Power Apps. Basically, because we want to let the agent to build the flow as you. So you give the permission to kind of with the scope that you have for Power Automate and Power Apps. And then after this is granted, you can press generate API key, and then you will copy this key somewhere so you will use it later. And then in VS Code, now I have this VS Code. This is just chat maximize. Usually VS Code looks like this, but nowadays I only use the chat to talk to the agent. And then you can use either the VS what is that? GitHub Copilot, or you can have this. This is a Codex plugin, and this is Claude. Either will work. So in the sense, if I use Claude Code, we have an extension. So if I just search for studio, and so here are two of them. So this one's Power Automate MCP for Claude Code. We have another one is for GitHub Copilot. And so you install this one. Mine is already installed. And when you install, you just automatically ask you to create a server. And now if I do it by hand, I will do Flow Studio Claude. And then you will select add a tenant connection. And then you can give it a name. I'll just say June 9 test. And then here, this is really the second step, which is the last step, is to paste the API key, which I just copied from the MCP site. And once this is connected, it will ask you to reload the window, so you will read the MCP server. And so from here, you can just ask it to say like a list my environment. You just start doing the work. I'll just also want to quickly show that the same thing very quickly in Copilot Studio. So I created this just this morning. It's a blank agent without anything. I only press create agent. And then to add Flow Studio MCP, you will come to the tools and then select add tool, and then choose model context protocol, which is MCP. And then you also give it NCP Flow Studio, NCP server for Flow Studio. And then need some more text. Okay. And the server URL is HTTP. So these information are in our website when you usually has those information that it give you the information details and also where you can find the resources. So it's ncp.flowstudio.app/ncp. And then create an API key, and the API key, the format is also in our website. I just want to show you the tool it pops up. In our VS Code, I believe you already listed RC to show my Power Platform environment. Yeah, I did that work. And then this one is just being a bit slow today. Yeah, so it says the connection is not connected yet. So create a new connection. And here again is pasting the API key. Same as before. Add and configure. So this agent now will have this Flow Studio MCP as its only tool. I want to show you the tool list. Okay, so here is the thing for, if I would say, in the VS Code, it's more like a developer phase tool. You use it, you usually has a repo, or you have some local files. You can do a lot of things with it, and you use it mainly for development. But Copilot Studio is a tool. Usually, you create an agent and publish, so your team can use it. So other people in your organization can use this agent. And thus, because the agent is shared, you have two ways to configure it. One is that you don't share the connection. So everyone use the agent later, they will need to enter their own key, that they need to come to Flow Studio to grab a key for themselves. Or you can publish it as using the maker's provided credential, which is using exactly the JWT key. I just pasted there. So it's tied to your Microsoft account, tied to your own Power Automate license. So if that is published, the agent asks on behalf of you. And think about, you share that to everyone, or you only want to share certain capability. So here is where you can configure. So if I would publish this to my organization, to a bunch of people who may want to check with this bot and see why the flow run. Usually the operational managers, why my automation, the report didn't come through, why the timesheet didn't yield the expected result. And then you can share this to them, but don't give them the access to update like flow. Don't give them the access to, well, probably like not to resubmit. For example, if you lock this down, this will become a read-only. And it's quite useful because as a flow maker, a lot of time people come and ask me why it didn't work. And a lot of time it's not the flow is wrong, it's the data is wrong. But usually I need to spend time to debug and find what is wrong and write something to them because your data is unclean because that person is missing the identity in AD or from another HR system. It takes time. But nowadays, when people send me the question, well, I haven't published this agent for them. This is my plan in the next coming months. But right now, when they ask me the question, I just paste the whole entire question to my agent. The agent will dig through all the child flows, multiple runs, and then find the exact answer. They will even go to what you push to SQL, what is extracted from Power BI, at some point they change the data and run again. All these in detail, I just copy paste. I actually do the screenshot and then send to the manager. It's good. It saves me tons of time. Yeah. So if you do that in this environment and you use maker provided credential, it is suggested that you just lock down all the right actions. And so that's it. That's if I want to test, I will say also list my environments. And you do the same. Yeah. Right. You ask me to open your connection manager and allow it. Okay. Done. Right. So in this testing panel, the fun thing is it's very clear what tool it is calling, and you can see its reasoning. It will, like in the chat, like when John show you in co-work, you can see it's like if you expand its source, it give you the details. When you do that in a Copilot Studio agent, usually it's omitted when you do that in a Teams chat or you're doing in the N365 interface. But actually all this happening behind in the history. When you come to the agent, you go to the activity, you can see all of that. And you can see it's like, well, this request is simple. So you just go to the Flow Studio MCP server and then call the action list live environment. Yeah, and then he gave me the same answer. Yeah, quite simple. Okay, so this is the setup part. Any questions up to here? And then the next one, this one. So the authentication model. So we already covered about the ID agent and Copilot Studio, and then co-work. Co-work is our new favorite. I think it's good for if you are IT manager, you may want to think how you can enable the makers in your organization to utilize Power Automate, because Power Automate do have some kind of bar learning curve. It's not that easy for people who have not touched it. But now with NCP, you basically, it's like a lot of people can write code to build something. And write code in Power Automate is even less dangerous, because in write code, you may have a lot of that people say. But for Flow, because the structure is very well structured, and once it work, it will always work. So Power Automate is a good place for people to start write coding using the agent. And then with co-work, it's like if you are the admin, you enable that in your tenant. So basically, you go to the marketplace to install Flow Studio MCP plugin for Copilot co-work. You enable your entire tenant. Well, you can choose who you want to assign to, but you can do that for the whole organization. And everyone will still need a step right now to go to Flow Studio MCP to grant the permission, claim the free trial. But then people can then very easily just come to co-work and start building Flow just within the chat. And I think everyone, if they know a bit of logic, how those things work, can easily build complex flows with co-work agent. And then this one, because it's SSO, is of course using individuals' credential as the builder. Okay, is this part? Good. And so next one, I'm going to just showcase one use case that we use Flow Studio MCP and agents to build an ITSM, which is a IT service desk. So maybe some of you heard of ServiceNow before, or Jira, Zendesk. Those are the platform where people submit tickets to IT and say, my password locked, I need to reset. Can you add me to that SharePoint site? I want to be added to that email group. Or the manager may say, the person left the company, please offboard and disable its Microsoft account, such and such. And usually that's a platform, you submit ticket and people are behind, take the ticket and then do all these exercise, assign, disable, enable, etc. And so this one, well, one thing is that all these systems are quite expensive. Companies spend thousands of dollars per month. Yeah.
You have use.
Yeah, so it's charged per person per month, and for a big organization, it can be quite expensive. And so this is a solution that we came up with. Let's build complete under M365, so no extra licensing. And then you use SharePoint. I use SharePoint. You can use SQL, whatever is under Microsoft data storage coverage. And then Power Automate, and then a Copilot Studio agent to automate this. I'll just show you what it look like. So this is the interface. By the way, this is a SharePoint site. This is just a normal SharePoint site. If I go back to the main site, it's just normal a SharePoint site with storage. And this one I use kind of I use a lot of lists that you see in the back. There's an approval list, approval stage, access, catalog, something, job type, tickets, and they are big list. Agents created all of them for me. I didn't create any. And then if I go back to just the interface, so this is, it doesn't look like SharePoint. It's a web app, and it's deployed by agent. For me personally, I don't have the skill to write this. But I pointed to example repo and say replicate the style and what I want to build. It does this. So the UI is very similar to those ticketing systems that you can come and submit a ticket. For example, I can say add John to group. Okay, I'll say add John Liu to ITSM group. This is actually the group of this site. This site is called ITSM. And I'll code it. This is called the groups and permissions. Subcategory is add to a group. And it says, oh, this is usually not an incident. You come and you use a request. Okay, and then it's requested for and I submit the ticket. And so when I submit a ticket, the workflow is like I just submit a ticket to the ticket list. Although it's UI, but the data will enter into the SharePoint list. And then it will trigger the validator. So a Power Automate flow is listening to it, just similar to how it was listening to the leave approval list. So Power Automate will see, oh, a new item has been added as a ticket. And then it will, in the Power Automate flow, you will call a triage agent, which is inside of Copilot Studio, to take a look to validate the type, whether that's correct, and does it have enough information? If not, send approval request back to the requester to ask, maybe you will say there are multiple John Liu, which one do you mean? Or the group name is ambiguous, which one? To have this iteration. And once you feel the data is clean enough, you will kind of propose what do we do? And then create another approval request to the manager. So the manager will say, oh, John Liu wants to be added to this site, approve or reject. And then once the manager approve, it will send back to the flow, and it will call some service principal as the executor to run those actions using, we call the Graph API, or some of them are through Azure function. So I think I just received request. Yeah, so it says, add John Liu, approve the named user to the name group. So it work out the group and the group ID just based on what I type. And I'll just say approve. So coming back to my request, I can see my ticket. And so this is like a great UI done by the agent. Good job. So it says the status is submitted, type is validated, related workflow created because I already approved it. So after approval, it will create it's called a provisioning job. And then the resolution is in progress. So this right now I don't have a refresh button yet. But yeah, you can see the last action is group add member succeeded. So John now is added. So earlier I have only 2 members. Now if I click again, well, if I refresh, I should be able to see John being added. So yeah, so this is not yet. Anyways, it's a bit slow. So that's the system, and I put the whole entire build into this public repo. So anyone, if you will want to build it, you can just give the URL to your agent and say, replicate this for me. And your agent will work it and build the 30 plus flows behind and all the list for you. Yeah. Okay, I think that's that one. John? Yeah.
Let me quickly sum up, I think. Or we can just take your questions. Put out your hand, because we... So, I just a bit background. I don't know if you are familiar with customizing SharePoint. It's quite a developer task. What I gave Catherine was I gave her a sample. I said, here's a public repo of how if you put a full page customization, you can have agent build that. And then there are some workflow in the back to deploy it to a SharePoint. So I gave her this sample. It's really not for her because it's very developer focused. She just point her agent at it. Say, I want my site to look like this. I want you to design it based on what ServiceNow has. So it went and create those lists based on ServiceNow's published architecture. The way it does the tickets, the way it provisions the jobs, and then the way it does the order tracking. So the way those lists are created is basically agents just go and read out what's best practice and just build. So then she also publishes free. So our recommendation for this is have a look at it by yourself, but get your agent, point your agent at it and say, I want this. It was cheaper last month because agents are more expensive this month now. but it will get there. Okay, let me wrap this up. So we make here. So what we covered, the first one I think is our key is that the NCP allows the agent to iteratively get to success. And I think any NCP that you add should be the same. If your NCP is just giving agents a bunch of APIs and your agent's getting stuck going down the wrong place, that NCP needs more updates. I think our experience is the same. The very first version, we gave the NCP 50 API calls, and then the agent gets confused. It doesn't know which one to call in what order. So we realized, oh, chop off half of it, tell her how to self-correct. So NCP needs to do that. Then you get a very happy place. We did not talk about this too much, but all the Power Automate flows and connectors live under enterprise strategy. So if you have data loss prevention already set up, these are not going to circumvent that. Right. Whereas if you say, oh, my MCP, maybe a Python one, is going to write a script and just reach out. That would not fall under your enterprise. So as an IT admin, you may consider, I want my my colleagues to extend the M365, but I still want to live inside the defined data loss preventions and governance platform. So that is a good conversation to be at. The third one is the ITSM. We work as consultants, and we see the NCP to help you build solutions faster. For a maker who is new, don't learn Power Automate expression today. Get an agent to help you, right? Like I would say, if you're learning any kind of programming language today, you'll learn it with an agent. Same with Power Automate. But yeah, as consultants, we write a lot of flows, and this just multiplies what we can build. The whole ITSM solution, I didn't touch any of it. I'm not even in the group. Remember, she had to add me to the group. I basically one day just told Catherine, ServiceNow is just a ticketing system to do all these IT tasks. And she just loved the idea. She just went off. She's not a developer, so. This one we also did not talk too much about, but because the MCP the plugin can work within your cowork. Currently, cowork out of the box is really good at anything M365. So if you want to say, summarize my email, and you could tell your coworker and say, one of my clients sent me some emails, or is asking something from me, and then the coworker can quickly find it and give you a quick summary. It's really good. But cowork right now is only good at stuff that's inside M365. It needs additional MCPs to plug outside. I think the Fabric is one of them, but it doesn't have many more. With our plugin, which allows it to write Power Automate, suddenly it can use all these 2,000 connectors and connect to other things. So if you today have a Jira project, you can add a Jira connector, and then your cowork could actually use that to fetch information out of Jira and then build your own report all within cowork. So that is, we think it wasn't intentionally one of the intentions. We just wanted to build a tool that will really help us build lots of flows. But because of how it can work within cowork, it allows cowork to build some of its own tools to get additional things. So that's been a pleasant surprise. Andrew mentioned in the build slide, there is a new thing coming. It's called Autopilots. Autopilot is basically Microsoft's OpenClaw. Okay, and the main thing that I think what currently we don't have is currently in Cowork and Copilot, you have to ask it to do something, and it will reason. So you can give it a task that take a long time, right? This could take 30 minutes to build a flow. It will iterate and reason, but ultimately you have to ask it to do something. The concept of autopilot is you ask it a goal, and it will make its own plan. And then every hour you will wake up and just do the next thing. And then one of its next thing could be add more things. So if you tell her, improve my entire platform, it'll probably just go in inventory and then chop up the tasks and then just keep doing this. So we see in that model with the Microsoft Scout, which is the first of the Microsoft Copilots, when it has a tool like this, it could really help with that big monitoring, right? So you could basically say, well, every day when you do your job, like when you kind of check in, to see what's the next on your list. And that could be continue to fix that flow, or it could be go and explore a new thing. But I almost think we could tell her to work on the ITSM and say, okay, the ticket type we have. Every day, go and find if there's any more that we don't have. So add them to the bucket. And then in the afternoon, you just pick one of them and implement it. So every day, we'll just wake up and there's another ticket type that's created. We probably should approve it, but anyway, it's good to check what your agents are doing. So that's very cool. So it's good that it can extend cowork today. We think it will extend the autopilot story even more. And remember, your autopilot is still operating these flows within your governed environment. So we're not saying, oh, your autopilot just spin up some Azure run workload in the cloud and start to do something that you cannot watch. With all these flows, you could see what it's doing. That will be it. I think we'll just stop there. Ask us our questions. What NCPs do you use? Let me ask you that question. Well, you guys are. Huh? Huh? I will tell you something that Catherine did. We got a 3D printer recently. Now, you can download a lot of patterns and just print it out, right? Catherine will not just live with what you could get for free. She wants to make her own models. I'm like, wow, there might be some apps where you could take a picture and it'll give you a model, right? She said, no. I'm gonna install Blender. Blender is a free 3D tool used to make game things. We are not game designers. We're not even 3D artists. She's like, that's okay. There's an MCP for Blender. So she used her Claude code. And she says, I have a new phone. And just gave Claude code the model. And he drew the thing. And he says, we have a particular plastic, it's a bit more rubber. I want the case. So Claude just used the MCP, draw the case. And then we printed it out. And it fits. But the hole for the camera is on the wrong side. Then you just paste a picture back to Claude. And then it's like, oh, I forgot to mirror it. So it just whoop. And then we print a new one. It was perfect. It just we're like, oh. So this is a fun story. But I think it also shows you what kind of she's really determined to get yeah. But yeah, like I look at this and think, oh, agents are with the right NCP, they reach into that system, right? Like you would say a year ago, an agent cannot go and talk to your 3D printer. But now you can. Oh, not yet. It talks to the model. I still have to manually feed the model to the 3D. I think in the future is we change the plastic so the model flew off because the bed was not warm enough. Dried and it fly off while it's printing. We thought, wow, in the future, the camera will just look at the print. When it starts to go weird, it will just automatically adjust. I don't have to touch it. It could just fix the model. Anyway. Moving on.
I have
MCPs are awesome. Yeah. Oh, wait, all the time? Good. One last question.
What do you think about hybrid solution? For example, like you are from software development background, right? She's not. So what do you think about when I saw you doing all of the stuff when you just click the button to give the permissions without even look at the script, what is doing carefully. So what do you think about that? Like, do you feel scared of it's too autonomous to the point that you don't even, and it's really good also. So you feel like when you don't feel like you have to monitor it as before. So like you become lazy.
Yes.
The button, okay.
Yes.
Whatever you want, do whatever you want. Just give me a result and fix it later.
Yes.
So you commit the thing that you don't even know what it is.
Yes.
What do you think about that hybrid solution?
I think that's happening with all agent work, right? Like even say when we were using GPT to write a report or a client document, I hope you don't use it to write a thesis. But, and you will hear horror stories, right? People submit things that they did not check. Right? In a way, I think it's the same. Like we initially distrust the agent, and then we start to see, oh, it's doing pretty good. So then, as you trust them more, you check it less, right? I think it's the same. And then you get the horror story, like Amazon, a data center gets deleted or something. That's really the worst bits. Do I have a solution to this? What do you think?
We're at time.
Oh, we're out of
We're
time.
getting kicked out. So if you've got more questions,
We can
you want
keep
to chat with John, but
Outside.
Outside, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
just well, there should still be food out there. But thanks for coming to this month's meetup. We'll have something planned for next month. And yeah, the recording, the show notes, links, and all that we'll share through the meetup group, through the email, through the LinkedIn posts, and all that. So if there's anything immediate you want from me, just come up and find me, and I'll give you the links or whatever you need. All right.